Hello, good morning, afternoon everyone. Welcome to my channel. You wake up, go through the motions. Smile for the world, but deep down, something feels off. You've got achievements, maybe even love, maybe comfort too, but not peace, not joy. That sticks. Why? Because happiness isn't what we've been taught. It's not in things, titles or timelines, it's in truth. And most people are too distracted, too scared, or too lost to face that truth. This isn't just about feeling better. It's about finally seeing what's been blocking your joy all along and breaking through it. You're chasing happiness. Instead of creating it, most people live their entire lives chasing a version of happiness that doesn't even exist, at least not the way they imagine it. We grow up believing that happiness is somewhere out there waiting to be found. It's placed behind accomplishments, money, perfect relationships, or big milestones. We're taught to delay joy, to keep running toward it, always a few steps ahead. I'll be happy when I get that promotion. I'll be happy when I meet the right person. I'll be happy when I lose the weight, when I travel, when I have more. But the truth is, that kind of happiness is always on the horizon. You never actually reach it. And even when you do, it fades, because you've wired your brain to only allow happiness later, not now. The hard truth: happiness isn't something you chase, it's something you create. It's a state of mind, a daily decision, and an internal condition. It's in the way you treat yourself, the thoughts you repeat, and the habits you keep. When you attach your happiness to outcomes, you lose control of your emotional life. But when you build it into your process, your morning routines, your mindset, your self-talk, then happiness becomes something no one can take from you. Ask yourself, what would life feel like if you stopped chasing happiness and started noticing it? The sunlight in the morning, the first sip of coffee, the message from a friend, the simple piece of a moment alone. These are not filler moments, these are the moments. True happiness lives in the present, not in a perfect future. When you stop trying to find it and start being it, you finally realize happiness was never missing, only your awareness of it was. You're comparing your life to everyone else's. Zone of the most toxic habits that quietly steals your happiness is comparison. It's subtle, constant, and often subconscious. You scroll through social media, and suddenly you're not enough. Your body doesn't look like theirs. Your house isn't as nice. Your life doesn't seem as exciting. And in those quiet moments, without even realizing it, you start feeling small. That's the power of comparison. It blinds you to your blessings and magnifies your insecurities. But here's the truth. You're comparing your behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel. You're measuring your real, messy, human life against someone's carefully curated, filtered moments. And that comparison is not just unfair, it's damaging. It makes you feel like a failure even when you're doing just fine. The antidote: gratitude and perspective. Every time you feel envy, pause and ask, what am I not seeing? That person might be smiling in a picture, but battling loneliness in silence. Their success might look glamorous, but it came with sacrifices you wouldn't want to make. You don't know the full story, and you don't need to. Your only comparison should be with the person you were yesterday. Start tracking your growth, not other people's timeline. Appreciate your own journey. You're not late. You're not behind. You're exactly where you're meant to be to learn what you need to learn. And when you focus on your own path, joy becomes possible again. Comparison breeds resentment, but presence and self-acceptance, that's where happiness begins. You're distracted from what truly matters in today's fast-paced world. Distraction is the default. We're constantly pulled in 1,000 directions. Notifications buzzing, content streaming, inboxes overflowing. But the more we scatter our attention, the more we dilute our joy. Happiness demands presence, and presence demands focus. When you're too distracted to notice your own life, how can you possibly feel fulfilled? We've become addicted to stimulation, not because we enjoy it, but because we're uncomfortable with stillness. We fill every quiet space with scrolling, every gap with noise. But underneath that noise is where meaning lives. Real happiness is rarely loud. It lives in a quiet conversation, an uninterrupted moment with a loved one, or the flow you feel when doing something you truly care about. When you lose that, you lose yourself. Being busy doesn't mean being fulfilled. Many people fill their schedules with tasks that feel urgent but aren't important. They chase productivity metrics but neglect purpose. They scroll for hours and wonder why they feel empty. The truth is, if your attention is scattered, your soul is too. If you want happiness, reclaim your attention. Start saying no to what drains you. Say yes to stillness, to deep work, to real connection. Put down your phone. Go for a walk without music. Have one real conversation where you're fully present. These aren't luxuries, they're necessities. Happiness isn't hiding from you. You've just been too distracted to see it. When you slow down, look around, and get intentional, the joy that's been waiting patiently finds its way back in. You're not honest with yourself. The biggest lie you tell, and the one that costs the most happiness, is the lie you tell. Yourself is the silent voice that says, I'm fine, when you're not. It's the smile you fake while your soul aches. It's the job you pretend to love, the relationship you force to work, the dream you bury to stay safe. Happiness can't grow where you're out of alignment. When your heart wants one thing and your life reflects another, you feel stuck. You might be surviving, but you're not living. And that tension, that's your inner truth begging for permission to speak. Being honest with yourself means asking the hard questions. Are you really happy or just comfortable? Are you growing or coasting? Are you staying because you believe in it or because you're afraid to start over? Self-honesty isn't easy. It often leads to painful clarity. But that clarity is the beginning of change. It's what opens the door to healing, to growth, to real joy. The moment you stop pretending and start telling yourself the truth, you begin to reclaim your power. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to stop lying to yourself. Say what you feel, admit what you want, change what no longer fits. Because the cost of denial is your happiness. And no dream, no person, no plan is worth that. You haven't forgiven yourself. We all make mistakes. We all carry regrets. But some people never let themselves off the hook. They replay the past, punish themselves for what they did or didn't do, and drag guilt into every new chapter. But you can't build happiness on a foundation of shame. If you're still judging yourself for who you were, you'll never become who you're meant to be. Self-forgiveness isn't about forgetting, it's about freeing. It's looking at your younger self with compassion, not contempt. It's understanding that you made choices from a place of pain, confusion, or immaturity. And that doesn't make you unworthy of joy now. You're not your past, you're your potential. And every time you beat yourself up, you're reinforcing the lie that you don't deserve happiness, but you do. Everyone does. The only way forward is through grace. You must let go of the version of yourself that made the mistake and hold onto the version that's learning from it. Talk to yourself the way you would talk to someone you love. Replace "I can't believe I did that" with "I understand why I did that, and I'm growing." Replace self-punishment with accountability and progress. Because healing isn't just about moving on, it's about moving forward with a lighter heart. Forgiveness is the bridge between who you were and who you can become. Cross it and happiness is on the other side. If you've been wondering why you're not happy, maybe it's time to stop searching outward and start looking inward. You don't need to chase more, you need to release more. Release the comparison, release the distractions, release the self-deception, release the shame. What's left when you let go of everything fake? Is everything true? And in that truth lives the kind of happiness that doesn't depend on circumstance, the kind that's rooted in peace, honesty, forgiveness, and presence. This isn't about fixing yourself. You were never broken. It's about returning to yourself. That's where happiness begins and where it stays.